So what if Apple decided that after finding success with the M1 Max, the only thing left to do was go harder? Yes, we have a detailed report on what Apple is working on, and trust me, it is pretty aggressive, and that's weird for Apple. Samsung's production of the S Pen for the Galaxy Fold 4 is spelling good and not so good news, and new molds show us what the iPhone 14 series will sort of look like in real life. I'm Jaime Rivera, and today is Monday. It was a great Boston Marathon day. Congratulations to the winners and everybody else that raced there. It was amazing to watch. This is Pocketnow Daily. We have some semi-official news today with the OnePlus devices. Recently the company confirmed that they'll be launching the OnePlus Ace on April 21st and even went on to share some official renders of it. And yes, I do agree that there are a ton of similarities with the Realme GT, Neo 3, and the leaked 10R here, but it's a completely different device it seems. Now we have some in real-life screenshots that belong to this phone showing off the flat design, color variants, and the triple camera array at the back. The leaked specifications of this device include a MediaTek Dimensity 8100, a 6.7-inch Full HD Plus display running at high refresh rate, a 50-megapixel primary camera with OIS, and a 4500 mAh battery. Now, the OnePlus 10R could also be the Indian variant of this phone, with it sharing most of the design and specifications, but with a few tweaks, and we even hear rumors of a possible Max variant. We're only 3 days away from the official details, so let's see if there's anything here to really be interested about outside of certain regions. Let's switch on to Apple and the iPhone 14 series, even if it's a bit early in the show. We have a new photo that surfaced on Weibo showing off some molds that allegedly belong to the entire iPhone 14 lineup. From these, we can see the new 14 Max, which should be taking over the Mini, as well as the other variants that we've seen in the past 2 generations. One thing that I find interesting is that most leaks claim that the camera humps were getting even thicker, but at least from this picture, you can't really tell as they're laying flat on a table, and flat would not be a possibility if that were to happen. If you're wondering why we're getting thicker cameras, we're reportedly getting a 48-megapixel camera for the Pros, which might allow for 8K video recording capabilities and other improvements, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. We didn't get to see the front though with the new bezels, but that never really matters unless it comes from a screen protector company. So yeah, so far it seems the flush leaks are gone as more information continues to point to this heftier approach instead. Let's move on to Samsung and their upcoming foldables. Rumors have been kind of slow over the fact that this might be a year of refinement for the new Fold, but we could still expect some exciting upgrades. A new tweet from Stuff Listings claims that the serial production of the S Pen for upcoming Galaxy Fold devices has already begun in several Eurasian countries. And I know the Z Fold 3 can use a special edition of the S Pen, but rumors have been claiming that Sammy could be putting the S Pen inside this device, and I mean the Z Fold 4. To make matters even more interesting, it seems you might no longer need that special edition of the S Pen with the new Fold 4, making it compatible with all options in the market. It seems that the new Super UTG that's being worked in is capable of providing better protection and a stronger surface for this new S Pen, or should I say the old one. The problem here is that with the S Pen being in production so early, it could be separated from the phone again, which I seriously hope is not the case. I would even love to at least get a magnet to put it next to the phone, but anyways. And finally, for the hottest news today, let's go back to Apple and talk about the Mac. It's no secret that the M1 has brought Apple their best-selling year in their computer history, and it seems Cupertino wants more, and I don't blame him for that. First, we heard about no hardware at WWDC, and then last week we covered the report from Mark Gurman saying that some Macs could be announced, with today being all about the details. To look at the bigger picture, though, that goes beyond just this June event, we have another report from Bloomberg mentioning that there are at least 9 Macs in development. Yes, 9. But that's not all. It seems these machines use 4 different variants of the M2 chips, which pretty much matches the amount of variants that we have today for the M1, even if we got those staggered. This means that Cupertino is already working on devices with the standard M2, the M2 Pro and Max, and heck, even the Ultra that just got announced a couple of weeks ago, at least in its M1 variant. The report mentions there's a MacBook Air with the M2 chip featuring an 8-core CPU plus a 10-core GPU. There's also a Mac Mini running on the same chip, but there's also apparently an option for an M2 Pro alternative for it. And then to conclude with that chip, we also have the entry-level MacBook Pro, which could be rocking that 2016 design and that base M2. And moving on to the Pros, there's a new 14 and 16-inch model of the MacBook Pros with the Pro and the Max variants, with the Max featuring a 12-core CPU, 38-core GPU, and 64 gigs of memory. Finally, there's also apparently the Mac Pro that got teased, which could include the M1 Ultra successor, the M2 Ultra we're expecting, which sort of seems like an in-between launch, as the Mac Studio might remain in the market with the M1 Ultra for a bit. Apparently, the current testing is a key step in Cupertino's development process, so the launch could be very soon. But anyways, in today's question, let us know, what would you like to see in a Mac for you to either upgrade to a new one or at least buy one if you don't have one? Because honestly, at this point, it's hard to predict what we're getting at WWDC. At most, I expect the chip announcement for developers to prepare, and maybe the MacBook Air. But in all honesty, what I really want is boot camp for the power of Windows to reach this powerful chip, or for Apple to finally get their act together about gaming with all this horsepower. But that's just me. I'll take any of those alternatives. Leave us a comment down below. We'd love to know your opinion. Friends, again, if you want to get the news earlier, follow us on Pocketnow.com and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. You can also follow us on social medias. Our extended coverage happens on Instagram, and follow me on my personal handles to see me dream about running that race, but not envying anybody that did it. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.